Jacob,
What?
important news.
What's that?
Luke's not here.
Why?
He pooped himself.
Oh my god. And then it would be really funny if I had another camera right here. But I don't. Welcome to Press Start, everybody. we put on a little skit, a little show for you as an apology for being a day late. Because some big dumb idiot.
Issues.
Yeah, some big dumb idiot messed up the audio, and now we have to go again. It was me. But on the bright side, now we don't have Luke.
Well, to be fair, the last time we filmed, Luke was like in his dining room with Lachlan.
It was a little rough. That hurt the audio too because it just made balancing it so funky. One of these days we'll have a setup where we can record all our own audio tracks, and I can just mess with it as I get it. But that's not what we're dealing with today. Today we're dealing with some fun gaming news topics. The first of which being, of course, a certain God of War coming to the PC. God of War's coming to PC, January 14th. What's this looking like, Ms. Huddlestone? For someone like me who's never had a chance to play the whole thing.
Yeah, this is looking real damn good. It's already on Steam, so you can buy it, pre-order it. £40, $50. It's already been in the top charts, so people obviously very happy. I mean, people have been wanting this for ages, so
yeah,
people be happy.
A little bit behind, Sony. A little behind on schedule, but still good. Waiting on The Last of Us.
Very happy. Well, this is a good. This is
a
damn
good start. It's a good one. Spider-Man and The Last of Us. Spider-Man would probably go the farthest of all these if they brought Spider-Man to PC. Shit. Oh yeah, it's Spider-Man.
Yeah,
people
but
lose their shit for that.
God of War.
God of War will do well, but I'm telling you right now, I think if Spider-Man comes to PC, it will outdo God of War.
Hey, what would outdo everything? Bloodborne.
Bloodborne probably would outdo everything. I would definitely jump on some Bloodborne. But it's good news. It's always good to have more games to play, especially critically acclaimed games, which according to IGN is the greatest game of all time. And you know what they say?
Fact.
It's fact, yeah. That's set in stone. But, hey, speaking of fact, holy fact, Uncharted movie trailer? Does that work?
No, but we're going to go with it.
All right, we got a trailer.
We're refilming. Even if the segues aren't good, we've got to go.
We got to go, that's fair. I don't know, Uncharted movie, though. How do you feel? You have strong feelings. I have not so strong feelings.
Well, I think my strong feelings come from the fact that I played the games. Oh, what have you done? Oh, what's in your sandwich?
It's a PB&J.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't like it.
You want to elaborate?
I don't like it. Here's the thing. I think for people who haven't played the games, they're gonna see fun, dumb action film, and they'll probably get on board, and they'll find it fun, and it will be just, a fun time. Oh, here's an action scene. Oh, it's funny quips, and then another action scene, shootout. Oh, exciting. If you are familiar with the games, this is weird. This is the only way I can put it. It's weird. Tom Holland is a fine actor. He's a good actor. And he seems like a nice guy. Jacob's face doesn't look convinced.
Of Tom Holland?
Yeah.
No, I like Tom Holland.
Okay.
I just think he's a good Nathan Drake. I think he's going to do just fine in that role. Except I think he's going to play him wrong in this first movie.
I don't think he's a good Nathan Drake. I think if you watch the trailer, to me, it seems like Peter Parker pretending to be an adult. And like he even does the Spider-Man pose in the trailer. And it's just like he doesn't seem to understand Nathan Drake. he doesn't have that vibe. Like even the most Nathan Drake he gets is there's a point right at the beginning where he's being a bartender and Mark Wahlberg as Sully. Again, I'm not sold on that casting choice, but whatever. They have like a quip where he's like, "Aren't you a little young to be a bartender?" And then he's like, "Aren't you a little old to be going to prom?" Because he's in a suit um that looks like a prom suit, and it's like, and that's uh, and that's yeah, sure, that's a very Nathan Drake quip, but he doesn't. It doesn't even feel like Nathan Drake. I can't exactly put my finger on it, but it just seems like generic hero played by Tom Holland in action film, rather than really getting down into understanding what Uncharted is about. That's my big problem number one. Big problem number two for me is so this is supposed to be a like prequel film. Before any of the games, this is young Nathan Drake, 20s, meeting Sully, first adventure, which I'm fine with. But then there are scenes in it directly lifted out from Uncharted 3 and 4, like shot for shot almost directly lifted out. And it can't be a prequel film that also acknowledges the games exist if you're lifting scenes straight out and putting them into
Is
something
it
that supposedly
supposed to be
happened.
that? I don't. I think it's supposed to be like a
Well,
substitute for those characters. Because I'm
but
a
then I
okay with them including stuff from multiple games because I don't think there's anything like, in my humble opinion, Uncharted 3 to Uncharted 4. Like, I think there's a lot more fun set pieces, but there's a couple cool one in Uncharted 3. So I would take what you want for the movie to get people engaged. I'm a okay with that.
my thing is I don't understand. I I don't understand. I don't understand what this film is supposed to be. Whether it is supposed to be a prequel, whether it's supposed to be a retcon of the games and like a whole new different thing, whether it's supposed to be like I don't whether it's supposed to be like a reimagining, like I don't get it.
I think it's I guess it's closer to reimagining from what I've gathered. I think the whole idea is they're like it's Nathan Drake as a character, but instead of in the games with those stories, we're putting him into a movie with kind of like a new story, but we'll take stuff from the game. Kind of like um I don't know, kind of like Walking Dead comic to TV show almost. Like that kind of adaptation where
Yeah.
same basic idea, same basic premise, but oh, there's some different shit. And just like with The
Ooh.
Walking Dead, the comic, the predecessor, the comic slash the game for Uncharted, will probably be far better than the TV show or movie, respectively. So I agree, though. I think it looks bland as hell. Uh,
Generic, in which case, it seems like they've got hold of this IP, this like Uncharted, and then they've gone, okay, we can just do generic shit and we'll slap the Uncharted logo on it and it'll be like, it's Uncharted, guys, when actually it's just like either ridiculously generic or they've lifted things just directly out, shoved them into the film and gone, people will like that because it was in the games. I hope I'm proven wrong, but I don't think I will.
yeah, it seems just like a bland action movie, like plain and simple. I don't think there's. I mean, like I think that casting wise, Tom Holland's probably a great pick for Nathan Drake because outside of Spider Man, he was in that one movie on Netflix, The Devil All the Time is what it's called.
Time. Yeah.
He's really good in that. And once I saw him in
He's a
that,
he's
it was like
a good
seeing
actor.
Adam Driver in like Black Klansman or a movie like that, where you're like, oh, it's the Kylo Ren guy. Or seeing Robert Pattinson in Good Time or The Lighthouse, where you're just like, before you'd write him off, and now it's like, oh, okay, they got some skills. And I don't know. I think maybe Tom Holland, because we heard some things that he may have screwed the pooch, and you can see in the trailer a little bit that he probably has the ability to do it, but for whatever reason, they didn't really show that in the trailer too much.
It might just be a bad trailer.
Could be
It
a
might
bad
just be
trailer.
that they wanted to like keep bits of it secret, so they just pick the most generic bits and kind of throw it together. Yeah.
The most eye-popping bits to get to wheel in everybody, to reel in, not wheeling, wheeling and
Really?
dealing in Uncharted movies. It's a wait and see for me because I'm all for fun movies, and if it's fun, I don't give a shit. If it's close to the games, I don't care if they kill Sully in the first 15 minutes. All I want is just a fun adventure movie because the last fun like Jungle Cruise got close for me. That almost scratched that adventure movie itch for me. Like it was so close, but it was just like it had too much CGI. It was just like weirdly paced towards the end. It was too bad. But like Dwayne the Rock Johnson was good in it because he has great charisma. This I want it to be that just a little bit stupider and a little less CGI. That's all I want. Just a little more grounded. Speaking of which, this is slightly off topic, but have you seen Aquaman?
No.
Okay. I've seen Aquaman. I think
How do you feel about it?
Aquaman for the first time, I think it sucks. I think
Okay.
that I think it's a bad movie. I think there's two good DC movies out right now, and it's Wonder Woman and Shazam. Those are the two good ones. The
What, in
first
this,
Wonder Woman
like,
in their
universe?
whole universe. But for the first time ever, I had someone openly defend Aquaman as like a good movie. And if you've seen
Oh.
Aquaman, oh my god, it's the worst movie. It's so bad.
I didn't see it when it came out because I didn't really care that much. Like, I think there were other movies I was more interested in, or I was busy, or I genuinely just thought, well, this looks meh at best. And since then, I've refused to watch it because Amber Heard's in it. So,
Yeah, it's like overused CGI, all these crappy looking battles. It sucks. And I had someone defend it. So just wanted to get that out there.
okay.
First time experience for me. And of course, first impressions are key. Hey, wait a minute. Speaking of first impressions, we just got
Yeah,
our first trailer for the
we did.
GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition. And boy, oh
Yeah,
boy, do I love this and do some people not love this? Kami, what do you think of
weird.
this trailer here we got for him?
I like it. I'm happy with it. I think it looks good. I do. I say I don't understand why people don't like it. I think people don't like it because either they're not a big fan of the style, which you're a lot better at talking about than I am, or they're hi,
Hello.
or they're it's me, or they aren't a big fan of the price. Now the price is £55 or $60. I think that's a fair price. You're getting
Yes.
three pretty freaking big games all in one. We know these games are good as well. There's like not this question mark about them. If you're complaining because they're old, like they are, like, they do look pretty different. They are doing stuff to them. It's not like a straight port. So I think the price is fair. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
And I like the style. Uh, it still has that like PlayStation 2 look about it, but it's a bit smoother. But I think some people were expecting or wanted it to look realistic.
Yeah, they wanted him like to do an
No.
Unreal, like resculpt
Yeah.
everybody to look more like GTA 5. And seeing GTA 5's player base, it's an enormous game. I think that this is going to disappoint a lot of very stupid people. This trilogy, I think a bunch of people. I think it's going to sell fantastically, and everyone
Yeah.
that's played them before or understands what they're getting into is going to have a great time.
Love it.
But
Yeah.
there's going to be a nice big circus of
Chunk of people.
morons. Yeah, that buy this game.
Circus of morons.
They're gonna think that this is, oh, it's more GTA 5. They brought these games back into GTA 5, and they're gonna play it and be like, what the fuck is this?
The
This
people
isn't as
who
good as
are
GTA 5.
like in that era, which to be fair is pretty hefty era, where all they know is GTA 5 and GTA Online.
Yeah.
And I mean, I understand that because it's been a while, but GTA hasn't always been like that. It hasn't
Mm-hmm.
always looked like that. And if you think that that is all that GTA is, and you see GTA Trilogy and you buy it, you're gonna be like, "What the fuck is this?"
Wait until they see what GTA 1 looked like. It was a top-down game.
It was. We're gonna blow some
So,
people's minds.
yeah. Take that, millennials. What's the generation now? What's the young one? Millennials. Is it
There's one.
millennials? What is it?
Yeah, this one
Generation?
is one
What's the most
below.
recent one of like all the baby
Is it
people?
Gen X or Gen Z? Yeah. Oh, sorry, Gen Z.
Gen Z, Gen Z. Gen Zebra.
Generation Z, born between 1997 and 2012. No, because that's us as well. I don't want
That's
to be lumped
me.
into people who were born in 2012.
Wait,
You kidding me?
I'm lumped in with people. I was 11 in 2012.
We're lumped into
That's
all
an
these people.
odd way of measuring
Oh,
it.
the newest generation is Generation Alpha, which is 2012 to mid 2020s.
We're looking at you, 8-year-olds. Fuck you.
Yeah, screw you guys.
Stupid 8-year-olds. Go. Nope. Golden joysticks. We'll move on.
We want to quickly say, for the trilogy, this is reported. I haven't found Rockstar confirm it yet, but pretty widely reported. San Andreas will be on Games Pass November 11th, which is the day of the digital release, and then GTA 3 will come out on PS Now on December 7th, which is when the physical copies are released. Don't know why they've split them like that. Maybe it's to give like a little taster for people, but there you go. That's a thing that's happening.
And I will say, if you're skeptical about this package and you have Game Pass, San Andreas
It's a
is
way
my
to
favorite
try.
of the three. Sir, oh, actually no, because Vice City's in there. Shit, two of them are my favorite of the thing. Vice City, they're not giving up for free because they know. They know what they have. I
I know.
love Vice City. But I love San Andreas. I can't believe I just said that without thinking that Vice City was coming. Two awesome games is the point, and also GTA 3, which I'm not crazy about. But point being, if you're skeptical about this, give it a try on Game Pass.
A trial.
You'll get an awesome little game, little experience. Be great fun. And you can play it with your new Xbox controller with a golden joystick. Wait a minute.
Ah,
The
very nice.
Golden Joystick Awards. We talked about this on the Tuesday show in
We did
a good
indeed.
bit. We were gonna get
Hmm.
Luke's input, which I
Again, he
believe,
shit himself. It's
yeah, he crapped himself. Oh no, we can say shit now.
sorry.
We're far enough in.
Yeah, we can. We
Luke
can.
shit farted himself so hard he couldn't make it to the phone today. But that's okay because we know what his game of the year is so far,
We do.
and we can
Well,
let you
do
know.
you think between us we can? His rankings were very similar to mine, weren't they?
They were pretty close. Except
So
it's fine. We'll go
he's
through it. Worst case
yeah,
scenario, we'll lie and slander him. We're just going to go through
yeah,
this list of the Golden Joystick nominees, give it our score out of 10
the
because
ultimate game
people
of the
love it.
year.
Ultimate game of the year. That's right. A
There's
non-pretentious,
loads
stupid
of
name.
categories, loads of categories. We went through them on the Tuesday show, but this is the sort of the big ultimate game of the year one, and our opinions are gospel. So
Buy yourself a Bible and let's see what they are. There you go. That's a good transition. All right,
yeah,
first up, what do we have, Cammy?
we have Deathloop.
Yes.
Uh, 7 out of 10.
I give it a 9 so far, but I haven't beat it. So bear
Like,
that in
oh, I
mind.
haven't beaten either. I haven't beaten it either.
Oh, okay, cool.
Uh, Psychonauts 2. I haven't played it yet.
I'd give it a 10, and if I remember correctly, yesterday Luke gave it an 11. So we're all good on that front. Resident Evil
Gave
8,
it a 9,
I think it was
and
11.
he gave it a 9, and he gave Deathloop an 8.
I'd believe that. Your
I'm
word
trying
against
to.
mine, fine by me.
Resident Evil 8, I haven't played, but I've watched people play through it, and I'd give it an 8.
I would probably also give it an 8, maybe an 8.5. Something like that.
I
I
don't
don't remember
remember
what I
what
did yesterday. 8.5. I've had more time to think
Yeah.
about it. That's my zone. Runch it and clunk.
Uh, yeah, another 8.
I'd say I haven't gotten to play it too much, so I will keep my opinion shafted, sheathed. I will keep it sheathed.
Keep it sheathed. Wildermyth, I haven't played.
I haven't played it. It's one of those games we talked about it, or I've talked about just the concept before, where there's always this one game every year,
Yeah,
there's one small game that is objectively like as close to perfect as you can physically get. Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. You get just these indie games that they're not big 3D open world games. You know, they're a bit smaller scale, but they are polished to fuck, and they're just so good. And there's always one, and the odds of it winning are very low. And if it does
yeah.
win, people call it a cop out because they're like, "What about these other games are like twice as big?" It's the dumbest thing. It's another reason I don't like award shows because this is like super apples and oranges situation.
Mm.
But
But you were talking about scale, how like it takes more time and effort and more people and manpower and stuff to get, say, The Witcher 3 perfect than it does to get, you know, Celeste perfect.
yeah,
And all of a sudden then you're balancing like, okay, this took Celeste took less time and less people, less, X, Y, and Z. But it's still yeah, it gets complicated.
it's tricky as hell. But you know, at the end of the day, it's up to what you like. And if you like a game and someone says it's not their game of the year, doesn't mean anything unless we say it. If your ideals don't
Yeah,
match up with
we
ours.
matter. Yeah, we really matter. Hitman 3, I think I gave it a 7, and that is, I really liked it, but I give those games lower scores because I think so much of the content is locked behind paywalls and stuff. And that's not something I necessarily agree with. So I really like the game, but it's
I
an
would
iffy one, I think.
I've thought on this one also because I remember
Hmm.
the other ranking I did put this one on par with Resident Evil 8. I'm gonna say it's an 8 and put it just a little bit below Resident Evil, or not, yeah,
Yeah.
a little below Resident Evil 8 because you're right. The game menu looks like the Microsoft storefront, and that
Yeah.
is not how it should be,
So
ever in any video
they're like
game.
incredibly polished and really like fun, and
It's
I
a
had so much
shame,
fun with
yeah,
it.
because there's
But
such good games.
there's so much that you end up like having to just buy, and it's not even DLC really. It's like, oh, you want this thing? Well, it's extra. You have to pay us for it. You want this thing? It's extra. You have to pay us for it,
Yeah.
and that gets annoying. And when you get games like, you know, pretty much everything else on this list that just gives you it up front,
It's a little rough.
yeah,
Thanks,
it's
Warner
rough.
Brothers. You fucks. Can't wait for Gotham Knights. The Forgotten City.
Not played it.
You know what? Luke's not here to stomp all over my opinions
Your
of games
opinion.
like The Forgotten City. Luke likes this game a lot. I believe he gave it a
You give it a
9.
9. Yeah.
Big fan. I you all know how I feel if you've seen me talk about games. I'm very gameplay oriented. I think that if you can overdo it in both areas, and I think that there's a type of games because I was playing Detroit Become Human yesterday afternoon.
Oh, what's that game?
There's types of games for me personally that
Yeah.
are are borderline not games, and they're
They're
closer to just
books
interactive
that you
books.
have to press a button to turn the page.
And I was
That's
playing
kind of how they are.
I really like the story to Detroit Become Human, but I was playing that yesterday and I wanted to shoot myself. It is so goddamn boring.
I love that
If
game.
you like if you want something fun to play, Detroit Become Human is not that game.
Yes, it is.
No, it's do you sit down it's like, "All right guys, get ready." In a big group it's fun to make all the decisions. Something like Until
Mm,
Dawn. That kind of game works. We can get everyone together and it's like we're all voting on what we should do. It's like a Jackbox party game almost, where it's like
yeah.
it's choosing your own adventure in a big group or on your own, having a good time. It's really goofy and fun. But when it's this serious and it's this droll and there's just all this talking, it just, for me personally, because I get people like those games, like Luke and Cammy to an
Yeah.
extent. For
Other
me though,
games.
I think you can overdo it in the story department, just like how you can overdo it in the gameplay department
Gameplay.
where you just put your gameplay can be perfect, but your story is so dumb or overused that it like loses a lot of its muster, which is
Mm,
what happens with Nintendo a good bit, where it's just like,
yeah.
okay, great, yeah, you put it out of your mind, great story, so glad we're doing this again. But then the gameplay's perfect. I prefer that side of the spectrum to the other side, I guess is what I'm saying. So not
I
for me
think,
this
yeah.
one,
I think a
I
lot of
won't
it
say
comes down to
nothing more about
preference.
it.
I just want to add, yeah, I think as well as like sometimes they overdo one way or the other. I also think it's preference. Some people just prefer story. So when it does sway that way, you're more forgiving. And then some people do the other way around.
That's fair. And hey, I don't want to like rub it in or nothing, but I mean, games are meant to be played,
Oh yeah, like
not
I,
watched. Looking at
I think
you,
you're way
like
more right.
there's
Like
no right or wrong. You're allowed to
if
like what
no,
you
but if
like.
you're like if
I'm
you
just
break it
explaining my
down,
thinking. Yeah.
if you break it
Objectively,
down, your
you would want the
defense is pretty
game.
strong.
Yeah. But at the end of the
But
day, it's about what you enjoy.
yeah,
And if you enjoy horrible games like Life is Strange, that's okay.
it takes many people to make a world. Like it takes at least two.
Hey.
Right.
Hey, It Takes Two. This one I think we're all on the same page with. It's really fucking
Yeah,
good.
really good. I gave it a 9. I think Luke gave it a 10.
It's probably I'd say I keep in mind I haven't played this game.
Yeah,
I've
you
seen
just
people
watched
play
it,
it.
right?
It seems right up my alley. I've just watched people play it. I'm waiting for, maybe we'll do it on stream or something where we can all play it together. That'll be my
Yes.
first playthrough of it. So I can't speak for the controls or anything, but from what I've seen and just like the impact it's had, I love it. I love almost everything about it. It's it's great. I'll give it a 9 without playing it.
And
Uh
the reason I gave it a 9 is like the ending falls flat a little bit for me just for personal reasons. So that's like not a critique of that I found this flaw in the game and I think you're wrong to give it a 10 out of 10 because there's this flaw that's objectively bad. It's like a personal thing of there's parts of the ending I just don't sit with me right because of things I've been through. But it's still a great game. Still game of
there
the
you
year for
go.
me. Yeah.
Well, we still have 2 left. Are you sure you want to pick your game of the year? Because one of these is really good, and the
Yes.
other one is a different game.
It is a game.
Metroid
Metroid Dread.
Dread.
I haven't played it.
I love it. It's like an 8 or a 9 for me right now. I have not
Mhm.
finished it, so stay tuned for that, everybody. I like it a lot.
I want to say, did Luke give it a 7 or an 8?
I don't know. I don't think it's the type of game for Luke
Yeah, it's just not
quite
his.
much. I forget what he gave. He probably gave it a 7 or an 8. That sounds about right. Whereas, like,
If
it's
you
good,
care
not
about
quite for
Luke's
me.
opinion.
If you
Yeah,
care about that big, stupid
if you
idiot's
care
opinion.
about it.
And then last but not least,
Mass
Mass
Effect.
Effect Legendary Edition.
Not played it.
I bought it and returned it.
I think
So did
Luke said
Luke,
he.
oddly enough.
Yeah. Did he start playing it and then just not bother with it, or did he do the exact same as you and just be like,
It
nope?
wouldn't boot up for him, but yeah, I bought it and I was like, "Fuck, man, I could do anything else." And then I returned it, and I think I bought like Dark Souls 2 or something instead. Maybe it was Chivalry. I forget what time it was around, but
There you go.
not for me. I love Mass Effect and I love BioWare, but remasters like this, remakes, whatever you want to call them, because we've gone over it dozens of times at this point, the difference.
Mm.
But to me in this specific case, not good enough.
Yeah.
Not quite on par. If you need to fit another game onto your game of the year list, I mean, you can pick up Demon Souls maybe, or Demon Souls isn't from this year. This is from last year. If you need to
Just
add one more 12
yeah.
minutes, maybe you could add to that.
Kina
Um,
was pretty good.
Kina, it's amazing. Kina didn't make the list, but Mass Effect Legendary Edition did.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
their
kind of
voting's a
weird.
little different. Maybe there's a cutoff we don't know about, but
Anyway, yeah,
that's the list. Cammy, your game of the year is.
It Takes Two.
There you go. And mine is, of
Jacob,
course, Psychonauts 2.
Psychonauts 2.
I
Yeah.
adore it.
I haven't played that yet, so
I really like
I'm
it.
hoping to play it by the end of the year.
It is worth every penny, every second of your time. It's wonderful. And speaking
Yeah.
of wonderful, there was a trailer for Gotham Knights, and
Yes.
it's about the Court of Owls, and they'll probably
Very
try to
excited.
rob you of your money while you're playing it.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm excited for more Batman stuff, just in general. We
I'm
had
excited
that
for more of that.
trailer, DC fandom. Hats
It
off
was
to
a
you.
thing.
Some fun
Yeah.
little reveals that got people
It was
talking.
way too long, but
It's always too long.
it's always still.
But hey, you learn things new every time a DC fandom comes out. Like for instance, I met someone who actually thinks Aquaman was good, which I still can't
Weirdo.
believe.
Yeah.
That's I cannot believe it. Maybe I have to watch it again. Maybe I missed something in that terrible movie. And hey, speaking of terrible, we have some terrible news. Elden
Yeah.
Ring has been delayed another year.
Sorry.
Gotcha. It's only a month or
Month.
whatever. It's
It's a month.
February
Pretty much
25th.
exactly a month. Yeah.
It's a yeah. I don't know what the original release date is. If I'm being completely honest.
I want to say January 22nd or 23rd.
Okay. It has to, in
Pretty
order
much
to
exactly.
qualify for the single day a year where I lock myself away and just play a video game, has to be released before the 18th of January. We all know this.
Yes.
And we all know what's taking the cake this year. Anyways, there's going to be some testing in November.
Yeah.
uh,
Closed network testing.
console only.
Console only. Sorry, PC players. But it is PS4 and PS5, Xbox One, and Series X and S. So if you're still on last generation, which I think is the majority of people, you can still apply. Just because you apply, though, doesn't mean that you're automatically going to be part of the testing. I've already done this. So you fill in a little form. It takes all of a minute. And then it says, we'll contact you if you're going to be part of the test.
And
So
if you thought
if
the
you're interested,
GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition was expensive, wait until you hear the price they're charging for this. How much is this going to set you back?
it's free!
We got you again, you
Yay!
idiots! God, you're so fucking gullible. If I could, I would tell you, oh, there's a tree over there, and you'd fall off a cliff, idiot. Anyways, it's cool. I love Elden Ring. The concept, at least.
Yeah.
It seems great.
If you want to sign up interest, do it by November 1st. You'll get contacted if you're going to play it, and then you can play it and give you feedback, and it will help with product testing, making sure it works good.
And that's what it's all
Happy
about.
times.
Hey, and speaking of things working, nothing seems to be working for Ubisoft because they suck. That's a bit too on the nose. Ubisoft,
True then.
they got a splinter in their side, a thorn in their side. It's the new Splinter Cell game.
So bad.
And yeah, it's early in the process. This leak screams, don't write us off yet from Ubisoft, because I've all but written Ubisoft off at this point. I've not tried Far Cry 6, but those last 3 games I played were just like horribly disappointing. To the
I
point where
can't
I'm
think
like,
of the
fuck
last
it.
Ubisoft game I played. I just can't.
I just don't think it's as much as I, enjoy Assassin's Creed as a series. It has its moments. Watch Dogs has its moments, has some cool stuff, and Immortals Phoenix Rising had a lot of potential just to be a substitute for Legend of Zelda on console, which is fine if you want to, if you can do that. But they just couldn't pull it off. They got when I first played it, I got an early test of it. I was like, they could definitely pull this off, and they just never did, and it's too bad. So it's three like really mediocre to bad games in a row, and I just don't know what you do after this. If you're Ubisoft, I guess you say,
Tell you what you do.
something's coming.
You greenlight the first mainline Splinter Cell game for over a decade. A decade.
And it'll probably suck, and people are going to hate it, and they're going to lose money, and then they're going to get bought by Google, and that'll be that. Well, you heard it here first. Ubisoft being bought by Google.
Good old
Google. Fuck, good old Google. That was supposed to be Google. CD Projekt Red.
Yeah, I was gonna say, speaking of
Speaking of missteps in my speech,
yeah, very nice.
guess what they did?
They delayed some shit again.
They did what? We should rename them the CD Project Delayed. Red. Because I feel like this is almost all they do is delay stuff and
Oh
then
no,
release
they
bad
also put out
products.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, so next gen version of Cyberpunk is delayed to the first quarter of 2022. I don't know who cares about that. The next gen version of The Witcher 3 is delayed to quarter 2 of 2022. I don't really know anyone cares about that either. Like, Witcher
People,
3 plays great as it is.
yeah, I want a playable version of Cyberpunk where when I drive a car, the frame rate doesn't drop down to 4.
You mean you
Uh,
want a game that works?
yeah, ideally. I would. I was
Crazy.
playing Fallout 4 last night,
Demanding.
and I was like, I kicked back with it for like an hour. And I remember a time when that game ran like shit. And I was like,
Mm,
oh man, this is kind of rough. But I was still able to have fun with it. And then I compared that experience to Cyberpunk. And maybe I just got older, but when I was playing Cyberpunk, it felt like gross. It felt like a chore to get any enjoyment out of it. Whereas Fallout 4 had enough to it where I was like able to, because the gunplay was really good. But
yeah.
Cyberpunk just, it had a really good story, but it lost sight of everything that made, a video game function. Like, functioning code and the assets that are
Yeah.
programmed correctly.
Yeah.
It's
I
actually
think
not that simple. It's not just coding. Fuck you. It's figure it out, CD Project Red.
think when I played it, I would have a period of time where I like was coping and I didn't mind it. And then I would have a short period of time where I was like, oh, this moment's really good and there's so much promise, and then the game would crash. Or there'd be a massive glitch or something, and I would be like I would rage. And then the cycle would just repeat.
It's so disappointing when you find something that good
Yeah.
that requires 10 times as much effort to enjoy than anything else out there. Where it's like, in order to, ideally, when you're playing a game to enjoy it, the amount of effort it should take is you playing the game. Whereas
I know.
Cyberpunk asks you to play the game and bear with them and deal with this glitch and deal with this. And there's a delay.
Re-upload.
Yeah, this guy's eyes didn't show up correctly, or a music loop. Luke had a glitch where the same loop of
Yeah.
music from the Johnny Silverhand concert kept playing. That's in his Cyberpunk critique. Check that bad boy out. And when I was editing
It's
that,
good.
when I was editing that video, I was dying of laughter because it's like a Tim and Eric sketch where it's like you're walking
Yeah,
through and
it's
it's just the
Harry though.
same. Holy crap. And it's like that completely takes you out of the game. Like if I was
Yeah.
fully immersed in this really important moment, and then I'm like in an elevator and it's just the same guitar riff the entire time, I would be dying of laughter. It got me so
I
bad.
It was pretty funny. Because I wrote all the like different story paths and stuff for that video. And like normally when I do that, I play the game just because it makes more sense to me. Like I've got the game, I'll play it, I'll
Yeah, first
write
hand
as I
account.
go. Yeah, I couldn't do that with Cyberpunk. I watched playthroughs, and because it was quicker to find a decent playthrough and skim through it and jump around video to video than it was to try and play the game. That's not a good sign.
It's not.
It's not.
Your game, yeah, entertainment should never have that much effort have to be put into them. At least electronic entertainment. That's like the whole
Yeah.
appeal of it is that you can sit down in a chair or on your sofa or whatever and do your thing. There's different forms of entertainment. I realize that for whatever reason, I feel like I have to cover my bases a lot whenever I talk about Cyberpunk. You ever feel like that? Where there's some
Yeah.
games you talk about where it's like you want to make a point and then it's like, but I get there's other things. That's how I always feel with
Think it's
Cyberpunk.
because it's wasted potential. Like when you have a game that's just shit, you can like say this is shit, and everyone will go, yeah, it is. Game's good. You say this is good, and people go, yeah, it is good. Cyberpunk, it's like you have to acknowledge both the potential and the fact that that potential is shit on.
Yeah.
You have to say like I can see. But also, and probably as well because it's CD Projekt Red and everyone loved them
Yeah,
so much.
that too.
And
I
you
love
still
them.
kind of have to, yeah. It's like, I think similar-ish is The Last of Us 2. I feel like if you don't like The Last of Us 2, you have to acknowledge that there are fundamental good things about the game. And if you do like it, if you're not a dickhead about it, you should also acknowledge, like, but I can understand why you don't like it. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some people out there who are like, this is the best game ever, and if you don't like it, you're stupid. And there are some people out there who are like, I don't like it, so I'm going to send death threats to people,
Yeah.
which is stupid. Don't
You're
do that.
you're allowed to play a game and like interpret the story. That's the great that what a different boat to be in for Naughty Dog, where you make a game that's objectively perfect from like or nearly perfect. I don't want to say perfect because of course there's issues. I
Yeah,
saw some artifacting issues and but good
very
god.
close
That
to.
game feels like the playing of The Last of Us Part 2 with its controls and whatnot it's the same feeling I get when I just press down on the trigger on the GameCube controller, like that nice squishy perfect trigger. It's just
Yeah.
pure. It feels so nice. But then of course it's like the story. It's like oh, but you slipped up on the story a little bit, and because of that, we won't do spoilers or anything this time around. If for some reason one of you haven't played it, but like those steps they chose as a story, it makes sense for the most part. Some of the stuff is really some of the
I
stuff's a
said
bit
it
out
before,
there.
my main issue is not even some of the things that happen in this plot line, like in the story. There's a big thing that happens that I think a lot of people don't like the game because a big thing happens. And if you know, you know. My issue is the pacing. I've said it before. There's a wonderful video out there, and I don't remember who did it, but he did a fantastic breakdown of why the pacing feels kind of off. And that's my main issue with it. But speaking of it, there are people out there who haven't played it. Because you know Amy? Hi, Amy, by the way.
Hi, Amy. Come back on the
Hi,
Tuesday show
Amy.
sometime, Amy.
Yeah, she's a friend. She also streams. She's very into video games. She played The Last of Us because I forced her to play The Last of Us. And
Good.
she was like, oh, I think I'm gonna play The Last of Us Part 2. She knows nothing.
Oh my god.
Absolutely nothing. Hasn't seen a trailer or anything. She didn't know the end of The Last of Us Part 1. Like that level of not knowing anything. I don't know how she's managed it, but I was like, okay, you can play The Last of Us Part 2. I'm not going to stop you because that's stupid. If you want to play it, you want to play it. But do not play it when you're sad. Do not play it when you're in a vulnerable mental state. Please play it when you have time to cry. Have tissues with you. And she was like, you're kind of scaring me. I have to be prepared to play that game. Christ.
It was
Yeah.
that game gave me the exact same feeling as the what was it, season 7, season 6 opener of The Walking Dead. Whatever it was. Won't say nothing more than that. It just immediately like takes everything out of you. That's another problem with that
I
show. It made that whole season a slog because you start out so fucking dark. And that's another problem with The Last of Us Part 2. When you start out that dark,
so dark.
you have to build up.
I cried so much at the beginning of The Last of Us 2. I broke a blood vessel under my eye. And it's not even the first time that's happened while I've been playing a video game. I've killed Jacob now.
I didn't know you could do
Yeah,
that.
oh, trust me, you can. So I had
Oh,
loads
I
of little
dropped my
red,
phone.
like, red splodges around the inside of my eye. So if I didn't like put makeup over them, people were like, what happened? I was like, there was two happened. Don't talk to me.
Oh my god, that was really funny.
I'm an
I
emotional
feel for you, but
person.
that was really
So,
fucking funny. I didn't know that was even physically possible. The only
oh
way I've ever
yeah.
gotten that is from working too long at my computer. I'll get one to pop.
Oh, it's possible. Yeah, you
Oh
can cry hard
man.
enough. The more
Holy
you know.
fuck. Well, we'll put this message out to Amy Amsley Cat. Check her out, by the way, everybody. We
She's brilliant.
challenge
She's in
you.
Twitch.
We challenge you to play The Last of Us Part 2, the first 4 hours over the Sunday and Monday. Today and oh, actually, you know what? This goes out on Monday. You have one
She
day.
won't manage it.
You have
She
one
won't
week.
manage it.
You have 8
She's got like a
days.
full schedule of like all sorts of video. Like she hasn't played The Witcher 3, Jacob.
You've got 8 days, and then come on the Tuesday show, and we'll talk about it.
You want me to ring her right now?
Yeah, ring her right
Amy!
now. Might as well, Amy, 8 days, and then come on the Tuesday show again. And we'll be able to talk about it. We'll be able to talk about it with a fresh set of eyes and ears and mouth.
Let's see if she's on Discord. She's here!
Welcome, Amy!
Hi!
Amy, are you prepared for the challenge I'm about to lay before you?
Always.
We have a ticking clock, just like in the movies. 8 days by next Tuesday. There's a request I have of you.
Okay.
Okay. I've got a plan.
Okay.
We were just talking about certain game series that you finished the first of a 2-parter in pretty recently.
Okay.
And
Last of Us.
The Last of Us. And we were talking about The Last of Us Part 2, and Cammy divulged to me that you have no idea what happens in that game. So, I've never met any human being that doesn't know what happens in that game. So I request of you, Amy, to play through the first 3 hours of The Last of Us Part 2 and come see us on the Tuesday show next Tuesday. So in 2 episodes. So we have a little time.
Next Tuesday. You got it. Is that an agreement?
What do you say? Yeah. We've locked it down. Join us on the... What Tuesday will that fucking be? This is Sunday, 26th. Join us on the...
on Wednesday.
5... Oh, to come out on Wednesday, you're right. We got to do something about that one of these days. We'll do it next year. It's fine. One of these days we'll have Tuesday released on Tuesday.
Amazing.
Well, sweet. There we go. And that'll close out the Press Start show.
Thanks, Amy.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks, everyone. We'll see y'all later.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.